Hey, welcome to 2026. Almost. I think we have 3 days left? Actually, kind of perfect. Just enough time to squeak in one last video for the year. And I have just the thing. This year alone, we made about 40 videos. 40 videos in 52 weeks. I honestly find that hard to believe. When I say it out loud like that, my gut reaction is, really? That many? Are you sure? But yes, somehow we made at least that many this year. And in the process, I probably read, watched, played, and looked at about 3 times as much fiction. Part of what's so surreal about thinking back on all of this is how much of it is kind of lost. I mean, when I'm studying for one of these videos, each story I read, each film I watch, each game I play is an experience, and it has an impact on my whole life. But then it's over, and it's time to move on to the next thing, and I almost forget everything I just learned. I wonder how many of you watch our videos and just by missing one here or there, or by listening in the background, never really get to have those experiences. It seems a shame to spend so much time with so many good works and then to just let them go afterward. So, here's what I want to do. Rather than one more of our usual videos, I want to end the year by putting all the best fiction I found this year in one place. All the most memorable pieces I've come across in the last 40 videos, the last 365 days. Here are my 10 favorite finds of 2025. One thing I have to acknowledge before we get started, one of the biggest parts of our research this year was actually just talking to our supporters. You might remember earlier in the year we started doing this thing where we invited anyone who supports us anywhere to come chat with us about the projects we're working on, a little area of our Discord server called Behind the Machines. I cannot even put into words the difference this has made for us in our videos. Inviting all of you to come have deep, actual conversations about the stuff we're working on has been like opening a creative floodgate. Video brainstorming, thumbnail workshopping, recommendations, sometimes even months before the final video even drops. In fact, some of the items I'm about to list in this very video, I only found because someone suggested them to me this way. So, if you not only want to support our work, but join a community of super interesting thinkers and get in on a lot of amazing conversation, we'd love to have you. Visit thetailfoundry.com/support to get started. There are so many things we're excited to talk about going into the new year. I hope you'll be there for them. Full transparency here, it was really hard to narrow this list down. I found a lot of great fiction this year, but there are a few titles that didn't quite make the cut for our top 10. So, before I get into it, I want to cheat a little bit and share some honorable mentions. The Substance and Robert Eggers' Nosferatu were some of the best horror movies to come out of 2024. These are on the honorable mentions part of the list because it's hard to call them discoveries. They're well-known AAA films. But if you're like me and you tend to go for the weird, niche art house stuff, don't miss out on these two just because of their popularity. I promise, they really do live up to the hype. Speaking of weird art house stuff, Nobuhiko Obayashi's House is a film you just have to see to get. The special effects in this movie, well, they're special all right. The screenplay was partially written by a child. The film lures you into thinking it's just some kind of bad-on-purpose horror comedy, but there's actually a lot more to it. It's surreal, it's campy, and it's a lot of fun. Watch this one with your friends and try to go into it blind, if you can. And that brings us to our final mention, I fell in love with the Majesty of Colors. It's a game that would absolutely have made the list if it was only a little longer. It's a nostalgic little flash game all the way from 2005. You play as an eldritch creature making first contact with humanity. Depending on your choices, there are several different ways this can go. It's free and only takes about 10 minutes to play, so if you have some extra time on your hands, go check this one out. Okay, those are the honorable mentions. I originally had 5 here, but this list is already pretty long as it is. So much to say, so little time. Let's get into our top 10 before 2026 gets here. Here we go. The first one on this list isn't exactly a rare find, but it had such a strong impact on me, it spawned not just one, not just two, but 3 whole video ideas this year. I'll let you guess which ones. It's a not-so-little indie horror game called Look Outside. The premise is simple enough. There is something in the sky outside. If you look out your window at it, you will be changed. So, you spend the entire game wandering around your oddly spacious apartment complex. The whole place is crawling with twisted eldritch abominations, all former friends and neighbors who dared to take a peek out the window. The character designs in this game are truly incredible. Almost everything you come across is so interestingly rendered, so lovingly designed that you kind of can't help but smile your way through the nightmare. And they're deep, too. They might be monsters, but they have personalities and story to them. Ultimately, it's your job to find whatever's left of their humanity and figure out what to do with it. Will you save the mutated baby rat and let it join your party, even if it costs you an arm? Will you befriend the mysterious cloaked figure, even though it doesn't quite seem to understand the difference between friendship and assimilation? Will you battle the horrific fungus boss, or listen to its stand-up comedy routine? Look Outside is made of moments like these. It's a big part of what made the game so exciting to me. It's shaped by the compassion you show, the empathy you extend. It might be a cosmic horror story, but it puts humanity front and center. Number 9 is another cosmic horror story. Don't even say it, I know, I'm obsessed. But this one is interesting because this time the eldritch, abominable, unknowable Stygian horror thing is trees. The Willows by Algernon Blackwood follows 2 friends on a canoe trip down the river Danube. There's this primordial sense of dread that permeates the whole story. The trees are looming, watching, moving, maybe? Speaking? Are they growing taller now? Is this even still the same river, the same forest? We get to watch as, passing beneath the dark boughs, the characters slowly lose their minds. I haven't really ever seen this done before, at least not in this way. There is something ancient and wise and foreboding about trees, isn't there? I just never really thought to call them eldritch before now. There's a line that Blackwood uses in this story to describe how the characters feel, confronted with this primordial strangeness, this power. It also describes how I feel, confronted with this story. The standard of reality had changed. Gris is one of the most beautiful games I have ever seen. It has a gorgeous watercolor-esque palette and a calming, minimalist soundtrack. It's a simple story about grief and healing, where a girl slowly builds herself up after a shattering loss. As she moves toward acceptance, she literally changes the world around her. Colors blossom into the environment with each new level. She gains power-ups that reflect how she processes her emotions. She turns into a weight to ground herself. Her cloaks become wings or fins, helping her to soar to new heights, explore new depths. I am, of course, in love with all of this. The visuals and visual metaphors in this game I could talk about for hours, I think. But the thing that really earns the game a spot on this list is actually the intention behind the design. The developers at Nomada Studios specifically designed it to be accessible. It's short. You don't have to be particularly skilled to play it. Don't have to worry about dying and losing your progress. There's no dialogue to read and very little explicit story to keep track of. Gris' character is a blank slate. No matter what you may have experienced in your own life, her healing journey could just as easily be your own. We've all heard the one about the artist who made the deal with the devil. He even made a whole video about it. But what does that interaction look like from the demon's perspective? Daedalum, The Devil's Wheel by E. Lily Yu is a bizarre experience. I haven't had another like it since. It's about an animator confronted with the demon of art itself. It's told in the second person, as if the narrator, the demon, is talking to you. The way it addresses you, the smugness of its tone, the certainty of your final answer, it's just chilling. I can't say too much without spoiling all the fun interpretation involved in a story like this, but I can give you some visuals. Whiskers, a beach ball skull, fangs, a tail, the potential for infinite stretch and squash. A film reel placed into your chest so that you can be played like a human projector. Your wrists mounted in mahogany. If you're an artist, listen to this piece. It could change your life. I mean that. I say listen and not read because you can only really find it as an audio reading over on the Clarkesworld website. But it's available for free, and I think audio is actually the ideal medium for this one. Kate Baker's delivery really makes it feel like the demon is talking to you, whispering all those demonic promises directly into your ear. Every once in a while, I stumble across a piece of media and think, where has this been all my life? That's exactly how I feel about the 1960 film Eyes Without a Face. If I had to describe it in a single phrase, it would be body horror for people who don't like body horror. It's not gratuitous. It obviously wasn't intended to shock. It is, dare I say, tasteful, even. It's about a surgeon trying to save his daughter's ruined face by grafting other people's faces onto her. He's not your average mad scientist either. He's driven primarily by guilt over the fact that he was the one who destroyed his daughter's face. Every attempt to redeem himself only drags him deeper and deeper into it. His daughter, played by Edith Scobb, absolutely steals the show. She moves slowly, mechanically, as if she's already dead. Her emotions are unreadable behind her mask, and yet you can't help but feel for her. She's a prisoner in her own home, tragic, passive, and quietly vengeful. This movie may be remembered for its famous surgery scene, but it's the ending that really makes it one of my favorites. I definitely don't want to spoil it for you, but I'll just say, keep an eye out for that final shot. When you see it, you'll know exactly what I mean. This next entry predates Lord of the Rings, and I kind of wish I had the same impact on modern fantasy because, let me tell you, it has some amazing world building. Holdmere Lee's Blood in the Mist takes place in a world divided. On one side of the map is Fairyland, on the other is Doramere, where the humans live. Long ago, after deciding that the fairies and their influence were responsible for their rulers' slide into corruption, they banned everything related to fairies, especially their addictive fruits. But even though all their ways are now outlawed in Doramere, the fairies' influence doesn't disappear so easily. Echoes of a magical past show up everywhere throughout the story. The culture has deep roots in a time when humans and fairies coexisted. The characters' names, their idioms, superstitions, folk songs, they use unique expletives like "by the golden apples of the west" and "toasted cheese." They believe that when people die, the fairies take them away and that the corpses left behind are mere cheats, counterfeits left in their place. Even the food fits this tone. It's steeped in world building. There's a soup called the Bittersweet Mystery and an extremely indigestible pudding called Death's Violets. Blood in the Mist is a hidden gem, a silently influential work of early fantasy. If you love the genre but want something a little bit different, this one is for you. Number 4 on our list is perhaps best described as an oddity museum put to paper. The first half of The Resurrectionist by E.B. Hudspeth is a biography of an entirely fictional person. It's about the life of Dr. Spencer Black, body snatcher, surgeon, and showman. It's a gothic horror story disguised as a historical record, complete with scientific illustrations and footnotes. That alone was more than enough to draw me in, but then you get to the second half, and it gets even stranger. From page 62 on, the piece becomes an art book, an anatomical guide written in-universe by Spencer Black himself, after his descent into madness. Dr. Black thought that mythical creatures were actually the ancestors of modern humans and animals. He recorded his theories in the Codex Extinct Animalia, a scientific text about the anatomy and evolution of creatures that never actually existed. It's absolutely stunning to look at, diagrams and descriptions of the inner workings of dragons, mermaids, minotaurs, and much, much more. As bizarre as it gets, the Resurrectionist always feels realistic. All of its horrors and curiosities are described with a cold, clinical attention to detail. It really does feel like the kind of book that only a mad doctor could write. This year, I finally read a book I've been aching to read for years. It's called Deerskin by Robin McKinley, and I genuinely do not know how to begin telling you about it. For starters, if you're looking for a cozy fairy tale with a Prince Charming and a happily ever after, you will not find it here. Deerskin is a book that puts the dark in dark fantasy. It takes its fairy tale inspirations and turns them into a living nightmare. I actually cannot tell you concisely what happens in this book without having to put additional content warnings on this video. It is rough. But that's really just a caution. The brutality and trauma of what happens in this book aren't why it's on my list. It's on this list because of its unusual mindfulness. The main character of this story is a victim, absolutely, but the story doesn't victimize her. The story is tragic, but resists becoming a tragedy. Instead, it stays with her, remains present moment to moment throughout her experience. Every decision, every step on the road to recovery is hers to make, and we get to see what that means, get a glimpse into what it feels like to her. I'll try not to spoil too much more, but I just want to say McKinley did an incredible job keeping the person at the heart of the fairy tale here. It would have been easy for the spectacle of the darkness, or the magic, or the world, or even the plot to win out. But this is a story about a person, and what it felt like for her to force herself to survive. The fantasy, it's just a part of that. I've read a lot of weird stuff, even in just this last year alone, so take me at my word when I say that this next story is very, very weird. I didn't even know it existed until a few months ago. It's called The Red Tower by Thomas Ligotti, and let me just say, I am so glad I stumbled across it. The story is about a factory that manufactures nightmarish novelty items all on its own, without any human engineers, workers, or designers whatsoever. And you can tell, they don't seem like the kinds of things a human would make. Pocket watches with insects for numbers and lizard tongues for hands. Disembodied hands with fingernails that never stop growing. The story takes you through the factory's increasingly absurd wares, floor by floor, until finally, you find out what happens in the basement. Here is where the tower creates its finest, most advanced wares. Living beings. Fetid, fleshy abominations extruded from grave plots in the dirt. They're called hyperorganisms, and they have only one purpose: to suffer. I'm telling you all this because I don't really think it counts as a spoiler. It's just information. The Red Tower doesn't really have a plot. It's mostly just descriptions. But the effect is stunning. Read this piece and you will be reeling for days. I was. It's hard to imagine how Ligotti even came up with all of this. But then, I guess that's the point. Humans were never part of the tower's design. And that brings us to my number one. The weirdest, most exciting work of fiction I found over the course of the entire year was this. A pleasant little graphic novel full of cute little fairy people and woodland creatures. I'm just kidding. It isn't pleasant, actually. Not at all. Beautiful Darkness by Fabian Vellman and Kara Skoet is a book I've seen people describe as physically sickening. It has this gorgeous, nostalgic watercolor style. It is indeed full of cute little sprites and animals, but it also has panels like this. And this one I have to blur just to put it in the video. This contrast, this beautiful darkness, so to speak, is at the heart of the whole thing. Very much Thumbelina meets Lord of the Flies. Seriously, the violence is so frequent and the book's treatment of it so blasé, it's just... maybe sickening is the right word. But in a good way. This is not violence for its own sake. This is contrast, a matter of cosmic scale. Tiny little people living inside the corpse of a dead girl. Tiny little people preyed on by woodland rodents and birds. Tiny little people killing each other off without batting an eye. Beautiful darkness might not be for everyone. I've heard a lot of people say that they can't even finish it. But if you can, get ready for a shift in perspective. Well, I guess that's it. Our last video of 2025. Reading through all my old research, coming back through old videos, it's felt like a family reunion or something. What a great way to wrap up the year. If you all liked this as much as I did, maybe we'll make a habit of it and do it every year. Let us know in the comments. For now, we're going to take a little downtime this season to get ready for the new year. I can keep going forever, but our humans, they deserve a little rest after all the hard work they did this year. So there won't be any videos for the next 2 weeks. Consider this last video my gift to you for the holidays. A reading list going into the new year. Plenty to fill your mind with until we get back. Before I go, I do have one last thing this year. You've probably noticed throughout 2025 how much I've been talking about education and learning at the end of our videos. I've pointed out again and again how much math and logic study I've been doing on the side. It's become so much a part of my equilibrium that even with all the stuff we have planned for 2026, and there is a lot, I have every intention of keeping at it. Consider it something of a resolution. I mention Brilliant a lot because they're worth mentioning. Not only have they been an amazing partner to the show, helping us to pay all the artists who work on it, but they also just make a really, really good product, which is why we've stuck with them for so long. We don't take sponsors we don't believe in. One thing I love about Brilliant is that, as convenient as the website and the app are to use, they also take it seriously. These aren't just puzzles or quizzes. This is an education. It's designed to start at your level, wherever that may be, and guide you to an actual foundational understanding of the subject matter. Logic, math, science, programming, tech, all the things that we creative types tend to struggle with most. To give it a try, visit brilliant.org/talefoundry or scan the QR code on screen. You can actually get started for free. Then, if you want to sign up and get unlimited daily access to everything Brilliant has to offer, you can use that same link to get 20% off an annual subscription. Scan the QR code on screen or click the link in the description to get started. Again, that's brilliant.org/talefoundry for 20% off an annual subscription. It's been amazing to have Brilliant on our side through this year. Definitely excited to see where it will take me in 2026. So, with that, I'll see you all next year, and as always, keep making stuff up. Bye.